You landed here on YouTube and watched this video consciously and of your own free will, didn't you? Well, that's probably not the case, even if it's hard to believe. So, what exactly do we mean when we talk about free will? At its core, the concept of free will suggests that individuals possess the ability to control their actions and make choices among various options. It's often tied to notions of moral responsibility and personal agency, implying that individuals are answerable for their decisions and the consequences that follow. Let's delve into a scenario to illustrate this idea. Picture Alex, an architect, sitting in a cafe on a rainy evening. Raindrops gently tap on the cafe's windows as they contemplate a seemingly simple decision, selecting a dessert from the tempting array on display. Little does he know that the wheels of choice began turning long before he scanned the menu. Earlier in the day, while engrossed in work, Alex's subconscious mind had absorbed a fleeting conversation about the cafe's renowned pecan pie. The mention of its buttery crust and caramel drizzle had slipped past his conscious awareness but left an imprint on his subconscious canvas. As Alex stands in front of the dessert counter, his conscious mind reviews the options: decadent chocolate cake, velvety cheesecake, and the enigmatic pecan pie. Without knowing it, his subconscious, like a hidden orchestra, has already played a symphony of preferences. The idea of caramel and nuts is already being processed in his subconscious mind. With what appears to be a conscious choice, Alex orders the pecan pie. To his conscious mind, it feels like a spontaneous decision, one born in that very moment. Yet, he remains oblivious to the orchestration by his subconscious. The illusion of free will is at play here, a captivating masquerade where the conscious self believes it is steering the ship while the subconscious currents guide the way. This intriguing interplay between conscious and subconscious processes raises fundamental questions about the nature of free will. Philosophers, scientists, and thinkers have long debated the existence of free will, and several factors contribute to this debate. In this tale, the cafe becomes a metaphor for the intricate labyrinth of the human mind. Choices that seem autonomous and deliberate often emerge as compositions of the subconscious, melodies crafted by our experiences, emotions, and subtle influences. Now, let's shift our focus to a profound question. Is free will even a possibility for humans? How do we differ from other intelligent creatures in this context? The debate over whether humans possess free will is a contentious one. Here are some reasons why the existence of free will is questioned. Many argue that all events, including human actions, are determined by prior causes and conditions, leaving no room for true randomness or indeterminacy. If this holds, it implies that human decisions and actions are predetermined, challenging the concept of free will. Advances in neuroscience have shown that aspects of human behavior and decision-making can be predicted based on brain activity, suggesting that our decisions are influenced by underlying neural processes. Some propose that our perception of making choices is an illusion generated by our brain, giving us the feeling of control over our actions even if that control is illusory. Okay, hold on, because now it's going to get wild. Let's assume that our decisions are made by our subconscious mind, already before we consciously perceive our decision. This means that the subconscious has processed a multitude of factors that we cannot influence. Of course, like everything else, these are subject to the laws of nature, in other words, to an almost endless chain of cause and effect. In the last consequence, this reaches back to the birth of the universe. Wait, so every decision which was ever made or is going to be made is already predetermined since about 14 billion years? Maybe, but not so fast. Because that would only be the case if everything is really strictly causally connected, completely without free factors and randomness. So let's explore this fascinating idea. Quantum mechanics introduces real randomness into our brains. According to this concept, the unpredictability and indeterminacy observed in quantum mechanics might introduce true randomness into brain processes and decision-making, offering a source of unpredictability that isn't bound by prior causes and conditions. However, even if quantum processes were found to influence brain function, it wouldn't necessarily mean that free will is a quantum phenomenon. The relationship between quantum mechanics, consciousness, and free will remains a complex and unresolved matter, demanding further exploration to fully grasp the nature of free will and its connection to determinism and quantum mechanics. Now, there have been several experiments suggesting that certain aspects of human decision-making may be predictable and influenced by unconscious processes that precede conscious awareness. For instance, studies employing functional magnetic resonance imaging and electroencephalography have revealed brain activity patterns that anticipate conscious decision-making by several seconds. However, it's essential to clarify that these studies don't definitively prove that decisions are predetermined, and free will is an illusion. Instead, they imply that our perception of free will may be shaped by intricate and subconscious processes that interact with our conscious thoughts and choices. The puzzle deepens. Finally, let's contemplate a scenario. What if it were proven that free will is indeed an illusion? How would this revelation impact the judgment of criminals? If individuals are not viewed as fully responsible for their actions due to the influence of predetermined factors, the justification for traditional punitive measures would require a reevaluation. Some philosophical perspectives posit that in the absence of free will, the moral basis for punishment might crumble, as individuals could be seen as not truly accountable for their actions. Instead, alternatives like rehabilitation and treatment might be advocated to address criminal behavior. However, opposing viewpoints contend that the absence of free will does not necessarily negate moral responsibility. They argue that individuals can still be held responsible for their actions based on the consequences of their behavior and their obligations to society. And now a little twist to think about. Suppose a system knows all the conditions that lead to the decision for someone to commit a crime, but prevents it before execution. Would the potential perpetrator be considered guilty even if the crime never materialized? The answer to this question would depend on the legal system and the cultural context in which it is examined. In some legal jurisdictions, individuals may be charged with a crime if they take substantial steps toward its commission, even if the crime is ultimately prevented and does not occur. This perspective places an emphasis on the intent and actions of the individual. In contrast, other legal systems may require that the crime be fully carried out for an individual to be deemed guilty, emphasizing the importance of the crime's completion and harm caused to others. The enigma of free will continues to challenge our understanding of choice and responsibility, one thought-provoking question at a time. You like this video? Here are 2 more for you. If you don't want to miss new content about our fascinating world, then don't forget to subscribe.